Hi, my name's Andy,
And I'm Jason.
and this is the Power 2 Pod. Today we're going to start our off-season series where we're going to do quick little breakdowns on every team in the Big Ten and the SEC. First up, we're going to start with Maryland. Maryland last season, just to give you kind of a season review, they went 8-5 and 4-5 in the Big Ten, so successful by Maryland standards. Mike Locksley is going to return for his seventh season. And if you went kind of like through their schedule and see games they won, lost, their probably best win last year was probably in the Music City Bowl against Auburn, and where they defeated the Tigers. Other than that, they kind of played to they pretty much went chalk and went they beat who they were supposed to beat and lost who they lost to. Now let's move on to kind of the roster movement they've experienced over this offseason.
Yeah, looking at their roster going into 2024, they had the 50th ranked transfer portal. They had 15 players out and 6 in. To me, Maryland's one of those schools that other Big Ten schools and other, ACC schools will poach all their better talented players. And I think that's why you get more out than you do in. But they also had a recruiting class of 44 ranked, and then that was 13th in the Big Ten. They were only able to get one 4-star commit. That's their highest ranking. And then key transfers out are Corey Dyches, their tight end. He went to the University of Cal. And then Jay-Sean Barham, another tight end, went to Michigan.
No, I made a typo. He's a linebacker. Set you up for failure. But yeah, the Jay-Sean Barnum is kind of the biggest loss in the transfer portal for Maryland. He, high ceiling linebacker that they had, probably one of the better linebackers they had on the team. And to see him to go in conference to Michigan kind of really hurts them. If you're looking at some other players that left or in this case were drafted, they lost their offensive lineman Delmar Glaze. He was actually the highest drafted lineman they've had in quite a while. They also lost defensive back Tarheeb Still to the draft. And then, of course, they lost Tua's brother. I'm not going to try to say his name because I can't. But they lost Tua's brother. He didn't get drafted, but he's out of eligibility. And I think I just seen him sign with a Canadian Football League team. So he is gone. So it's kind of a new era in Maryland because he's been there for so long and been running the show there. And I mean, he's set all kinds of records and kind of has been the best quarterback Maryland's had in recent memory. A couple incoming transfers. They were able to get a guard from Georgia, Aluba. So really kind of, going to help there in the trenches. Big body. He should start for the Terrapins and should make a difference on that offensive line behind with a new signal caller. And they are also able to get maybe their new signal caller and MJ Morris from NC State. He's coming in, so it's going to be open up a quarterback battle probably for Maryland. Freshman to watch. They're probably their top recruit, which is the 4-star safety Brandon Jacob. Is probably one of the few freshmen that are going to see some significant time on Maryland. And then you also have running back Dewan Williams, who could see some playing time with the turnover there at running back.
Yeah, and another player to look for is probably one of their best defensive players they have would be their linebacker Ruben Hypolite. He comes back to he returns to that defense. But looking into the 2024 season, I think one of the more important games for Maryland would be Rutgers. That's got to be one of the games that they feel like they need to win. That's a conference game that I think will be circled on their schedule to win. And to me that'd be important for them.
Yeah, I think Maryland going into this year is going to be fighting for bowl eligibility, so they're going to need every win they can. If I'm looking at their schedule, that kind of like really important game they need to win, I think it's going to be Michigan State on the 7th of September. You're getting a new coach, all this turnover at Michigan State with players, new coaching, new scheme. I think if you can squeeze that game out early in the season, I think that could be really beneficial for Maryland to make a bowl game. One other thing we probably need to talk about with Maryland is who's going to be quarterback. if you're looking, of course, they brought in the transfer MJ Morris from NC State. They also bring back Billy Edwards Jr., who seen time last year when Tagovailoa was injured. And then Cameron Edge also comes back. So it's kind of a three-headed race right now, as far as I can tell, what I've seen in some blogs and reports. It looks like MJ Morris might have the slight lead, but Mike Loxley said in a press conference the other day that you'll pretty much know the quarterback the Tuesday before the first game. So this thing's going to play out all the way through fall camp, and I think it's truly going to be a decision that's made week of the game, and then whoever does get that start's not exactly cemented into that position.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely can see at least two of them getting solid playing time this year. I think it'll be kind of like if they start to struggle, they'll definitely make that change.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, Maryland kind of lives in that purgatory of the Big Ten where you're hoping to make a bowl game. And we haven't really looked. We're not doing their schedule breakdown to see, who's the big, if they've missed all the big dogs or how easy or how hard their schedule is. But I mean, for the most part, Maryland's striving to make a bowl game, and that should do it for our Maryland. Stay tuned. We're going to be throughout the summer. So check the channel and look out for your favorite team. That should do it for us for this team breakdown.